Hello and welcome. Tonight, federal government announces a new 5-year strategic plan aimed at tackling insecurity across the country. Following last week's meeting with U.S. officials in Washington, the presidency says the United States is committed to providing intelligence support and defense equipment to help combat terrorism. Nigeria Labour Congress condemns recent surge in the abduction of school children and teachers across several northern states. And Volodymyr Zelensky warns against conceding Russian-occupied territories as the latest round of Ukraine talks concludes.
On business news tonight, NNPCL announces plans to collaborate with private sector operators to rebuild and modernize 4 of the nation's refineries.
On sports news tonight, Pep Guardiola apologizes, saying he feels embarrassed and ashamed for confronting a cameraman following Manchester City's defeat at Newcastle.
And from the nation's capital, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar formally joins the African Democratic Congress ADC in his Jada ward, Adamawa State.
In a renewed effort to combat insurgency and address emerging security challenges across the country, the federal government, through the Office of the National Security Advisor, has launched a new 5-year strategic plan. Speaking at the official unveiling of the document in Abuja, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, says Nigeria will not yield to agents of destabilization determined to undermine the nation's peace.
For this noble cause.
The fight against terrorism is receiving a boost as security experts, legislators and members of the diplomatic community converge on the conference hall of the National Counter-Terrorism Center for the official unveiling of a 5-year strategic plan. At the official unveiling of the Center's 2025 to 2030 strategic plan, the national coordinator of the Center emphasized the urgency of a coordinated regional response.
The plan articulates 9 strategic priorities that shapes Nigeria's counter-terrorism posture over the next 5 years. These include enhancing intelligence analysis and operational coordination, strengthening legal and judicial support for terrorism prosecution, deepening implementation of the national counterterrorism strategy, and developing new national frameworks such as the resilience plan, the counter-improvised explosive device enterprise plan, and the strategic communication action plan.
On its part, the African Union believes the strategic plan aligns with the vision of the Union to silence guns.
At the African Union, we see this initiative as fully aligned with our continental priorities. It supports the African Union master roadmap of practical steps for silencing the guns, the African peace and security architecture, and the continental strategic plan of action on preventing and countering violence and extremism. Nigeria's leadership is there for both national and continental.
With Nigeria's resilience remaining firm, even as terrorists evolve in tactics and technology, the President of the Senate insists the nation will not succumb to agents of destabilization.
A promise that insecurity will not define our national identity. A promise that Nigeria can, West Africa can, and will definitely turn the page. They promise that together we can build a secure and united and prosperous West Africa with Nigeria leading.
The strategic plan charts a 5-year roadmap to transform the center into a regional center of excellence. It outlines a new intelligence-driven era, from drone surveillance and regional operations center to advanced training institutions and simulation facilities for crisis response.
By giving back.
The United States government has affirmed its readiness to deepen security cooperation with Nigeria, including provision of enhanced intelligence support and defense equipment. and that's according to the federal government. A statement by presidential spokesman Bayo Ononuga says that this follows discussions and engagements held last week between a high-level Nigerian delegation and U.S. officials aimed at strengthening security partnerships between the two countries and opening new avenues for cooperation. Now, according to Mr. Ononuga, during the engagements in Washington, D.C., the Nigerian delegation refuted allegations of genocide in Nigeria, emphasizing that violent attacks affect families and communities across religious and ethnic lines. The statement also adds that both countries agreed to implement immediately a non-binding cooperation framework and to establish a joint working group to ensure a unified and coordinated approach to the agreed areas of cooperation. The delegation, led by the National Security Advisor, Mr. Ekweremadu, had met with senior officials across the U.S. Congress, the White House Faith Office, the State Department, the National Security Council, and the Department of War. Members of the delegation included the Attorney General of the Federation, Mr. Lateef Fagbemi, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Olufemi Oluyede, the Chief of Defense Intelligence, Lieutenant General Emmanuel Ndiandeye, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, and 2 representatives of the Office of the National Security Advisor. Staying with security, the Southwest Governors Forum has called on the federal government to urgently begin the surveillance of forests across the 6 states of the Southwest region with a view to securing the vast forest belts in the zone, which are fast becoming hideouts for criminals through the deployment of forest guards. The governors equally reiterated their position on the need for the immediate establishment of state police to help beef up security, not just in the region, but in the entire country. The governor stated these in a communique issued after a meeting hosted by the Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde at the governor's office in Ibadan.
The forum agreed to set up a Southwest Security Fund, which will be set up under the Dawn Commission. And this fund will be administered by a forum of special advisors on the security of all the Southwest states. And they have been mandated to ensure that they keep on a monthly meeting amongst the 6 special advisors. 2, the forum also set up a joint security intelligence sharing and communication platform. The forum resolved to establish a live digital intelligence sharing platform amongst all the 6 Southwest states. This platform will exchange threat notification, will ensure that incidents are logged, traveler and cargo alerts, and coordinate state-to-state response, among others. Thereafter, the forum calls on the federal government to note the urgent need for enhanced forest surveillance across the Southwest states and enjoin and call on the federal government to secure the vast forest belts that have become hideouts for all sorts of criminal elements. To this end, the forum agrees that the federal government should help deploy the forest guards across the Southwest states, with each state government responsible for providing the required personnel.
As the nation continues to grapple with insecurity, the Nigerian Labour Congress, the NLC, has condemned the recent wave of attacks and kidnapping of school children and teachers across some states in northern Nigeria. The president of the NLC, Mr. Joe Ajero, who described the new surge of violent attacks as a smokescreen, a strategy of depopulation and plundering of natural resources, urges Nigerian workers to organize better and challenge the status quo.
It's the annual conference of the Nigerian Labour Congress, and for this year, the focus is on protecting workers' rights. The annual Hamatan School is a conference of the NLC leadership and affiliate unions where participants are prepared to respond to matters affecting their rights as workers.
The right to freedom of association, the right to collective bargaining, the right to non-discrimination, equal work for equal pay for equal work, work of equal value, the right to equality in the world of work. These developments call for renewed commitment to social dialogue.
The recent surge in kidnapping of teachers and school children in parts of northern Nigeria also took center stage.
We mourn the abduction of students and staff from major school in Kebbi and the 350 students and staff of Catholic school in Niger State. This is not random banditry. It is a primitive accumulation drive for the 21st century. The cures in smoke is a smokescreen, a strategy of depopulation and terror to clear the land for capital plunder. The reign of anarchy has become prevalent, and if not resisted and decimated, nobody is sure of what the end game will be.
In a similar vein, the president of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, says the education sector is under severe attacks and calls for continued determination of all workers to resist those attacks.
Education is under attack. It's under attack by bandits in the bush and bandits in their government houses, mansions in city centers. So while the bandits are attacking and killing us instantly, our leaders are attacking and killing education instrumentally. And so we would continue with our commitment to fight for education in Nigeria, to prioritize education in Nigeria is unshakable.
For the next 5 days, these workers will lock themselves up here as they brainstorm on the better approach to addressing issues that infringe on the rights of Nigerian workers and propose solutions.
To the courts, Justice Mohammed Umar of the Federal High Court in Abuja has adjourned the trial of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan for alleged cybercrime until February the 4th, 2026 for commencement of trial. The matter, which was fixed for Monday by Justice Mohammed Umar, could not proceed due to the judge's absence. Justice Umar had on September the 22nd fixed October the 21st for the hearing after the trial was stalled owing to an objection raised by the defendants. Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan was arraigned on June the 30th on a 6-count charge filed by the Director of Public Prosecution of the Federation, Mohammed Abubakar. She was then granted bail, following which Justice Umar adjourned till September the 22nd for the commencement of trial. Meanwhile, a witness of the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project SERAP, Mr. Kolawale Uluwadare, has admitted at the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory that there was no invasion by operatives of the Department of State Services at its Abuja office on September the 9th, 2024. Mr. Uluwadare, who is a deputy director with the organization, admitted using words like unlawful, invasion, intimidation, and harassment to allege that the office of the organization was invaded by operatives of the DSS. On the cross-examination, the witness admitted using the words based on information supplied to him by a front desk officer and receptionist with the organization in an alleged defamation suit instituted against SERAP by 2 operatives of the DSS, Sarah John and Gabriel Ogundele. In part 2, after the break, a British court declares request from federal government to allow former Deputy Senate President Ekweremadu complete his prison sentence in Nigeria. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Federal government announces a new 5-year strategic plan aimed at tackling insecurity across the country. Following last week's meeting with U.S. officials in Washington, the presidency says the United States is committed to providing intelligence support and defense equipment to help combat terrorism. Nigeria Labour Congress condemns recent surge in the abduction of school children and teachers across several northern states. And Volodymyr Zelensky warns against conceding Russian-occupied territories as the latest round of Ukraine talks concludes. Outside our shores, the British government has declined a request from the Nigerian government to allow former Deputy Senate President Ekweremadu to complete his prison sentence in Nigeria. Senator Ekweremadu was jailed for 9 years and 8 months back in 2023 after a UK court found him, his wife Beatrice, and the medical doctor Obin Naubeta guilty of conspiring to exploit a young Nigerian man for his kidney. Recently, a federal government delegation led by the Foreign Affairs Minister, Ambassador Yusuf Tugar, met officials at the UK Ministry of Justice to discuss Senator Ekweremadu's case. The delegation requested his deportation so he could serve his remaining sentence here in Nigeria. However, The Guardian UK quoted a Ministry of Justice source as saying the request was rejected over concerns that Nigeria could not guarantee Senator Ekweremadu will continue serving his sentence after his return. Let's now head to the nation's capital, and Millicent Walker is standing by to give us the latest from our Abuja studios. Hello, Millicent, over to you.
Many thanks, Ayotunde. Good to see you. Well, it's now official. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has joined the African Democratic Congress, ADC, ahead of the 2027 general elections. The former Vice President formally registered as a member of the party at Jada Ward 1 in Jada local government area of Adamawa State. Speaking after the registration, Mr. Abubakar says the ADC is the only party that offers a credible alternative to the ruling All Progressives Congress.
First and foremost, I was a foundation member of the APC, but I have been thoroughly disappointed with their performance. No doubt about that. And what has happened also to PDP is something that I had predicted, and it has come to pass. It requires experience and intellect, to be able to get these things right. A political party that is not rancor-free, because rancor is part of democratic processes. So let's put that one aside. And having said that, I believe we are in a legally, constitutionally recognized political platform. No doubt about that. Those who are sitting on the fence don't belong to anywhere. But I believe those who are committed to true democracy, good governance, prosperous economy, security, will definitely give it to the ADC. Because it is composed of elements who believe in the sanctity of democratic processes.
Over to health. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohamed Pate, has witnessed the signing of a major memorandum of understanding between the Presidential Initiative for Unlocking the Healthcare Value Chain, Brazil's largest pharmaceutical group, EMS-SA, and Oaks Medical Limited. According to the minister, the agreement sets the stage for local drug production and reduced import dependence. Our correspondent Victoria Longjohn has more.
It's another milestone in Nigeria's health sector as the federal government signs a memorandum of understanding with one of Brazil's largest pharmaceutical group, EMS-SA, and Oaks Medical Limited. The agreement establishes a framework for Project Oaks, a World Health Organization's Good Manufacturing Practices compliant pharmaceutical manufacturing facility and life sciences innovation hub in Nigeria.
We will be import dependent.
The agreement aims to position Nigeria as a competitive player in regional pharmaceutical exports under the African Continental Free Trade Area.
Create a competitive environment where the local industry thrives, where the external partners who are willing to invest and take risks in our market, share technology transfers, capability transfer, will also have the risk that they're taking rewarded by our market. But at the end of the day, where Nigerians will have the full benefit of this enhanced industrialization in the medical space.
It's very detailed. It outlines the different responsibilities of the various parties, but we're all on the same page, and the goal is really to produce high-quality WHO GMP certified medical drugs and consumables in Nigeria here with global standards, working with big partners.
A key purpose of the partnership is to unlock technology transfer, build local capacity, and by bringing global experience and modern production capability into the country, the initiative supports Nigeria's long-term goal of medical industrialization and improved self-sufficiency.
It's a remarkable time, but it's not actually the end of the job. We're actually in the beginning, and it seems that we have a really ambitious plan to be here to attend the needs of the Nigerian government and the Nigerian population. So.
The MOU is then signed. When fully operational, the facility is expected to deliver affordable, high-quality medicines for more than 30 million Nigerians while creating 1,200 jobs. From Abuja, Victoria Longjohn, Channels Television News.
Some company news now. Charis Motors has unveiled two new 2025 Renault models, the Coleus Renault and the Cardian Renault at the 25th Abuja International Motor Fair, describing them as strategic entries for both private and public sector users in Nigeria. The General Manager in Marketing and Corporate Communications, Mr. Abiona Babaride, said the new models come with a 3-year warranty, flexible financing plans, and full after-sales support. Our correspondent Benny Ark reports.
The 25th Abuja International Motor Fair is showcasing the latest automotive technologies and brands in the country. Charis Motors is among the major exhibitors at the event, presenting new additions to the Renault lineup for the Nigerian market. The event was attended by the Minister of State for Industry, Mr. John Eno, the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Mr. Kingsley Ude, the Director General of the National Automotive Design and Development Council, and the General Manager of Charis Group, among other industry stakeholders. After the keynote addresses, the ministers and the company of other dignitaries and special guests proceed to the Charis display area for the official unveiling of the two new Renault models, marking their formal entry into the Nigerian market. The two vehicles were then officially launched by the Director General of the National Automotive Design and Development Council, who also performed the first test drive of one of the models.
When you look at what the vehicle has, for example, it's 1-liter capacity engine, it's a turbo engine, it's 3-cylinder, so it's going to be it's the fuel economy vehicle. It's not every time you focus on price. Sometimes you focus on value and be able to match both value and price. That is quality and quantity, and that's what you get when you have this.
Executives of Charis Motors carried out further test drives of both vehicles to demonstrate their performance, handling, and road readiness for Nigerian terrain.
It's a smart car. It's a stop and start button. The driving, the steering is so flexible.
We don't just sell Renault. We don't just represent Renault in terms of sales. We represent Renault and give you the 360 degrees customer experience in terms of after sales. And when we are talking of the after sales, we are talking of getting the original parts. And again, having the original parts is just not enough. You also have the tools to fix this part. And having the tools also is just not enough. You also have the certified personnel. These are technicians that are Renault certified that Charis has invested on over the years.
In closing, Charis Motors says the introduction of the Coleus Renault and the Cardian Renault signals its commitment to expanding the brand's footprint in Nigeria, with customers assured of warranty, financing support, and full after-sales services as they plan for the new year. Benny Ark, Channels Television News.
Well, a historical landmark has been set as Lafarge Africa plc, in collaboration with Tafawa Balewa Square Management Board, unveiled the completion of the restoration and beautification of the Independence Memorial Obelisk. The Independence Obelisk is a powerful symbol of the transition from our colonial rule to independence, which marks the exact spot at the Tafawa Balewa Square when Nigeria's flag was raised on October 1st, 1960, replacing the Union Jack.
It's a historic gathering of distinguished guests as Lafarge Africa PLC, in partnership with the Tafawa Balewa Square Management Board, flags off the rehabilitation of the iconic Independence Memorial Obelisk.
The completion of this project reflects the power of collaboration. With a strong focus on structural integrity, safety and accessibility, every activity ensured the preservation of the original design and texture.
The reconstruction project, which began in September 2025, focuses on restoring and upgrading the Independence Memorial and its surrounding precinct, transforming it into a premier public destination and a proud symbol of national heritage.
These landmarks carry the weight of the sacrifices of our leaders, heroes to the moment we claim our sovereignty. They tell the story of a nation that has endured, evolved, and continues to rise.
This project has been made possible through our collaboration with Lafarge Africa, reflecting their profound commitments to community development as part of their corporate social responsibility initiatives.
Lafarge Africa is contributing its world-class expertise in sustainable building solutions to preserve, enhance, and elevate this historic landmark for generations to come.
In Lafarge Africa PLC, in line with our purpose of building the future through innovative and sustainable building solutions, we use very eco-friendly cements called Eco-Planet Elephant, which offers a significant lower carbon footprint.
And now to the official unveiling and a symbolic tree planting ceremony.
2, 1, congratulations, Nigeria!
It symbolizes unity, it symbolizes growth. Thank you very much.
As one of the sub-Saharan Africa's leading building materials companies, Lafarge Africa says it remains firmly committed to building the future. Lafarge also promises to leave positive footprints, foster meaningful partnerships, and champion responsible, sustainable development for the greater good.
Congratulations indeed. Still ahead on the news at 10, NNPC announces plans to collaborate with private sector operators to rebuild and modernize 4 of the country's refineries. That's coming up on Business News. Please join us again.
Welcome back. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Renaissance Africa Energy Company Limited, Tony Atta, is calling on the federal government, industry players and the academic community to take urgent action to address Nigeria's worsening energy shortages and protect the nation's economic growth. He made the appeal at the University of Ibadan while delivering the institution's 2025 annual lecture titled Energy Security and Economic Sustainability, with focus on the role of Nigeria's oil and gas sector in national development.
It's the 2025 homecoming of the University of Ibadan Alumni Association worldwide, and the university welcomes with warmth its alumni from all over the globe. This year, the alumni session was marked with the usual alumni lecture and commissioning of various projects donated to the institution by one of its worthy alumnus, Mr. Tony Atta.
Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
These legacy projects include the Renaissance Legacy Arena, a 5-a-side synthetic football pitch sponsored in partnership with Exefa, the renovated Independence Hall reading rooms, personally sponsored by Mr. Atta, and the Light Up UI project, an alumni initiative to improve campus illumination and security. Next is the lecture, which focuses on Nigeria's oil and gas sector, its gains, challenges, and what the future holds. Delivering the lecture, Mr. Atta, an alumnus of the university, described the oil and gas sector as the backbone of Nigeria's economy.
The future is not something we will enter. No.
The future is something we must create. Let us choose inclusion. Let us choose innovation. Let us choose to be part of this solution. Let us choose to make a difference.
Noting that the national grid currently delivers less than 5,000 megawatts for over 200 million people, far below national needs, the Renaissance bus projects rising global and African energy demand. He identifies natural gas as Nigeria's most viable transitional and long-term option, bridging the gap between fossil fuels and renewable energy.
We need to scale up fast our domestic gas development alongside gas for export, aiming to at least double the gross daily production from current 8 BCF to 14 billion standard cubic feet.
Chairman of the occasion seized the moment for a clarion call to younger people, especially undergraduates, to look inwards and develop templates for sustainable growth without cutting corners.
You shun those by all means necessary kind of wealth, like doing Yahoo and doing some other, involving yourself in courtism and vices that tend to destroy. So I plead with you to be good ambassadors of UI, and we'll continue to identify with you at all times.
The Renaissance bus, a respected voice in the oil and gas sector, is calling for collective action to transform Nigeria's energy resources into reliable power for homes, industries, and communities. Bukola Oriowo, Channels Television News.
Right, more on the energy sector, this time in business news with Joke Rogers. Joke.
Thanks so much, Aya. Today, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has announced plans to partner private entities with proven refinery operations and technical expertise to revamp the 4 refineries in the country, which are located in Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna. The announcement, which was made by its Group Chief Executive Officer, Bayo Julari, in Abuja, is targeted at improving operational efficiency of the facilities and producing higher quality fuel. He emphasized that the refineries, which have a combined installed capacity of about 445,000 barrels per day, require redesigns to meet international standards, producing high-grade fuel suitable for commercial marketing as well. Let's bring you some company news. UAC, a company with a rich and diverse history, which has been active in Nigeria's economic landscape since 1879, says its recent acquisition, Chi Limited, is aimed at maintaining a high non-stop acceleration of growth projections for the organization. The group managing director of the company, Fola Ayeshimoju, made the declaration during the organization's Facts Behind the Figures presentation, which took place at the Nigerian Exchange in Lagos.
UAC returned to the Nigerian Exchange once again to update the exchange and its shareholders on recent strategic developments aimed at increasing growth opportunities across the entire group. The organization's management team was led by its group managing director alongside other top leadership. In their welcome remarks, the leadership of the exchange acknowledged UAC's tenacity and endurance in remaining a market force over the years.
The result of experience, resilience, and innovation is seen in brands like Mr. Biggs, Swan, Gala, and so many other household names. And now, the one and only Chi Limited have joined the UAC group.
A company like UAC, like the chairman rightly pointed out, has been in existence for a very long time, having been listed decades ago on the NGX.
The group managing director was direct, stating that the acquisition of Chi Limited is the key driver accelerating the establishment's renewed growth trajectory.
There needs to be 100% confidence that the company continues to run and grow. And it's the strength of that team that allows the board to have the confidence to say, okay, go ahead and pursue this acquisition.
The group finance director then provided shareholders with deeper insight into the financial strategy and execution of the acquisition process.
To fund this, we've had a lot of questions around what was the funding mix and how did we do this. It was a combination of equity and debt. So we used UAC's cash and we also received support from our bankers.
For 146 years, UAC has successfully navigated various economic storms, maintaining its position as one of the anchors of Nigeria's manufacturing sector.
Nigeria is a very rich and vibrant consumer market. There are over 230 million people. They are discerning. And if you give those consumers quality products at the right price in a convenient manner, you see growth. And that's what we focus on.
The company affirms that the acquisition of Chi Limited underscores its ambition to strengthen its market position, unlock key synergies across its portfolio, and deepen its participation in the high-growth consumer segments of the Nigerian economy.
Nigeria's stock market begins the final trading week of November in the red, extending consecutive losses recorded in the 5 sessions last week. Nadi Williams has more.
Hello and welcome to the market close summary. From a big drop last week, the first trading day kicks off with mild profit taking, but almost seems like it's given us direction on what to expect, or maybe the sell pressure could be reducing. You know, at this point, 143,614 points for the all-share index. If we look at the top trades now, GZCO leads the counter there by volume today with 203 million units traded. We also have Fidelity Bank, that's also in financial services, 126 million traded. And Japolgo there, 68 million traded. Then for the sectors we track now, we see banking and consumer goods. They kick off the week on a back foot there, both dropping 0.27%. Consumer goods mild there, just about 2 basis points. So it's a big week for dividend payouts on the Nigerian exchanges. MTN Nigeria, Seplat Energy, and Aradel are set to pay a combined 213 billion naira based on their 9-month 2025 results this week.
That's business news. Back to you, Aya, today.
Many thanks, Joke. Still to come on the news at 10, Volodymyr Zelensky warns against conceding Russian-occupied territories as the latest round of Ukraine talks concludes. That's on Around the World in 5. Join us again. Welcome back. Summer Fuse is up next with international news and Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has welcomed important steps made during peace talks with the US in Geneva, but warned the main problem remained Vladimir Putin's demand for legal recognition of Russian-occupied territories in eastern Ukraine. After US and Ukrainian officials convened in Switzerland on Sunday to discuss ending the war with Russia, officials from both sides reported progress and an intention to continue working. However, no details have emerged on how to bridge the considerable divide between Moscow and Kyiv over territorial issues and security guarantees for Ukraine. It is now thought that Zelensky and US President Donald Trump will meet to discuss the more contentious points, although no timeline has been given.
Trump has got a seedy, grubby, semi-corrupt deal on the table, and he wants a good man like Rubio to sell the deal. The only sliver of hope I have is that Trump is so unreliable and so inconstant that now that he sees there's so much pushback against the deal, and he's weaker than he was even 6 months ago, he could change again and go back to supporting Ukraine. But this is a really appalling way to treat Ukraine and to try to get peace.
At least 90 people have died and another 12 are missing after days of heavy rain in Vietnam led to flooding and landslides. The Vietnamese government says 186,000 homes have been damaged across the country, with more than 3 million livestock swept away. Officials estimate there has been hundreds of millions of pounds worth of damage. The mountainous province of Dak Lak has been severely impacted, recording more than 60 deaths since the 16th of November. The floods are the latest extreme weather event to hit Vietnam alarm in recent months after typhoons Kalmegi and Baloi hit the country within weeks of each other. 7 people have been arrested in India after a daring 70 million rupee heist in which armed men posing as central bank officials robbed an ATM cash van. On Saturday, police in the southern city of Bengaluru said they had cracked the case and recovered 57.6 million rupees of the money stolen 3 days earlier. The Bengaluru Police Commissioner said that a 7th man had been arrested in Bengaluru, adding that it would take time to determine the amount of money in his possession. Police are still looking for 2 or 3 more suspects. The former UK Prime Minister David Cameron has revealed he has been treated for prostate cancer. Lord Cameron said his wife had insisted he go for a checkup after being inspired by a radio interview with the entrepreneur Nick Jones, who had been campaigning for more men to be tested after being diagnosed himself. He was treated with focal therapy, which targets the area where the tumour is present using methods such as ultrasound waves to destroy cancer cells. Prostate cancer is the most common cancer in males in the UK, with around 55,000 new cases every year. The Cameroonian opposition leader Issa Chiroma Bakary, who is contesting the outcome of the presidential election, has fled to Gambia for his safety. Chiroma Bakary has insisted he is the legitimate winner of the 12th of October election, alleging that the result was rigged to give President Paul Biya an 8th term. The Gambian Information Ministry said on Sunday that Chiroma Bakary arrived on the 7th of November and was allowed to stay on humanitarian grounds. Jimmy Cliff, one of the most prominent and beloved proponents of reggae music, has died at the age of 81. A star since the 60s, he helped to bring the sound of Jamaica to a global audience. Through hits such as Wonderful World, Beautiful People, and You Can Get It If You Really Want. His lead role as a gun-toting rebel in the 1972 crime drama The Harder They Come is a cornerstone of Jamaican cinema and was attributed as the movie that brought reggae to America.
Music can highlight awareness, and from that awareness, people can take some kind of action to better the situation. I think that's the role music has played through the ages.
And NASA astronaut Zena Cardman has captured the glow of the Northern Lights, or the Aurora Borealis, from above while aboard the International Space Station. Cardman is serving as commander for NASA's SpaceX Crew 11 mission, which left Earth on the 1st of August. She has encouraged viewers of the footage to look for Houston and Florida while watching.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. MPFL bottom place team Kano Pillars have ended their winless streak with a surprise 2-1 win against Ekweremadu City in a March Day 14 clash played at the Muhammad Diko Stadium in Katsina. The win was Pillars' third in 14 matches and first win for Coach Mohamed Babaganaru. Veteran midfielder Rabiu Ali gave Pillars the lead after 3 minutes, while Olalikon Alaka doubled the lead on the half-mark hour. Katsina United defeated Enyimba 3-2 in another game played in Ilori. Pep Guardiola admits he's embarrassed and ashamed of his behavior after confronting a cameraman following Manchester City's damaging 2-1 loss at Newcastle on Saturday. The City manager reacted angrily after he was filmed close-up following the final whistle when he was involved in discussions with Newcastle player Bruno Guimaraes and match officials. Guardiola was angered by the decision to award what proved to be Newcastle's winning game in the 70th minute at St. James's Park, with City believing their goalkeeper had been fouled.
When you saw I apologize. No, I feel embarrassed, ashamed when I see I don't like it. I apologize for the camera after 1 second. So I am who I am. Even 1,000 games, I'm not a perfect person. I make a huge mistake. So it's not about that, but I don't regret. What is for sure, I defend my team and my club. That's for sure. The reason why is I want to defend my team and my club. That is no doubt. Because from my experience to win the Premier League, I have to do 100 points. And 98 points. Otherwise, we don't win. That's for sure.
And Chelsea coach Enzo Maresca says it will be essential to try to defend as a team aggressively to counter Barcelona's attacking threat on the eve of hosting the Spanish giant in the Champions League. Barcelona 11th in the league phase of Europe's top club competition with 7 points after 4 matches, the same number as Chelsea.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see.
It's nice for people that they love football to watch players like Estevao, like Lamine Yamal, like Pedri. This is the beauty of the football. So we are happy that Estevao is with us, and for sure he's going to do well. For sure he's a fantastic player. He showed all his life that he does the most important thing in football, that is score goals. We're going to try to defend like always, like a team, aggressive in the way we try always to defend. But it's Lewandowski, it's Lamine Yamal, it's Fermin, it's Ferran, Frankie de Jong. They have so many players, but at the same time we also have players that we can try to win the game.
That sports is back to you, Ayo.
Many thanks, Chris. And the main news again. The federal government today announced a new 5-year strategic plan aimed at tackling insecurity across the country. And that's the news at 10. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ayo Tunde Balogun. You have a good night.